Hey everyone, welcome to another Pathfinder adventure card game scenario. We are on scenario 2.4 over here in the catacombs. So we'll get started advancing the blessings deck. The first card we see is the Geniekin. Okay, it's a combat 8 check. It does not have the cold trait, otherwise at this location we'd be able to add 1 die. So we haven't examined this card. So the difficulty to defeat is increased by twice the scenario's adventure deck number. So since we're on scenario 2, that would be a 4. So we need a total of a 12. So what we're going to do is Alahazra has the Immolate spell, which is a D10 plus 2d4, and since it has the fire and attack trait, we'll do a D8. And since it's a divine check, we get to add a total of 6 to this roll. Okay, feeling pretty cool. So 6 and 6 is 12, 13, 14, 21, and a 4 is a total of 25, more than enough to defeat the Geniekin. We're going to roll to see if we recharge our Immolate spell. It's a Divine 7 check, and our Divine is Charisma plus 6. So actually, the Immolate, it's an auto recharge, which is pretty phenomenal. Okay, this card is banished, resetting the hand, advancing the blessings deck, and we get the Mist Mail. Wow, this is pretty awesome. So Constitution Fortitude 7 or Intelligence Arcane. Okay, well we really want this card. The Constitution for Alahazra is only a D6, so we'll go with the Intelligence, which is a D8, and we're going to use a Blessing of Horus. So we can roll 2d8 for this check. Alright, and we rolled a 7 and a 1. And we needed an 8. So we do acquire this card. Pretty cool. We'll add it to our hand. We'll advance the Blessings deck. And we get a Toxic Geyser. Okay, so this does not have the cold trait. So we need to do a Dexterity, Acrobatics, Wisdom, Survival 5 check. But it's increased by +4. Since it's by level 2. So we have to roll a total of a 9. And we do have in our hand the Find Traps spell, which is amazing. So we're going to go ahead and do our Wisdom or Survival. So we have Survival of Wisdom +2. So we're going to, thanks to the Find Traps spell, we're rolling 3d8 and adding 2 to this roll. So 7 and 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 4 is 16. More than enough. So what we're going to do is now we're going to roll to see if we recharge the Find Traps spell. We need a Divine 8 check. So not quite auto. If we roll a 1, we don't recharge this spell. Oh, and we do roll a 1. Wow, how about that? So we do not recharge our Find Trap spell, but this card is defeated. It will get banished. I'll reset the hand, drawing up to 7 cards. Advancing the Blessings deck, and we get Camouflaged Pit Trap. So we need to do a Wisdom Perception 6 or Dexterity Acrobatics. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do the Wisdom 6 check. Well, we have a Blessing of the Ancients in our hand. But, you know what? We'll keep it. We're just going to straight up roll a D8. D8. Well, you know what? Let's see. What are we going to do? We'll go ahead and use a Blessing of the Ancients. The Blessing discard pile is showing a Blessing of the Ancients, so we're just going to recharge that. So we're rolling 2d8 for Wisdom. Alright, so I rolled a 2, and we rolled another 2. So that's a failure, but fortunately, we have the Game of Afterlife in our hand, where we can banish this card, or we can bury this card to re-roll 1 die. Okay, let's re-roll this die. See what happens. Wow, even worse. So the Game of the Afterlife is buried. So we rolled a total of 2, 3, and we needed a 6. But fortunately, we have Maga 3 fingers in our hand. So we can recharge this card to add 3. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Recharge that card, adding 3, so we just barely defeat the Camouflaged Pit Trap. Okay, So that was tricky. So we are resetting the hand. Took a few cards there. Advancing the Blessings deck. And we get this weapon, Chakram. Dexterity range 6. Alahazra has a dexterity of D4. So we could use a blessing to try to acquire this card, but we'll just roll the D4. It's going to be an auto fail. Roll the 1. That boon gets banished. Advancing the Blessings deck. Alright, we get a Bone Crusher Hyena Master. So no cold trait on this monster. So it's 2 combat 9 checks. Well, fortunately we have the Clinging Venom spell in our hand. So we're going to be using Clinging Venom, which is Arcane or Divine plus 1d8. And what's cool is since it has the Poison and Attack trait, and Alahazra has a special power, saying for every poison and attack she can add a d8. So we can use both of these rolls for both of these combat checks. So we rolled a total of 2, 3, and we got a 6. So 6, 7, 8, 9. We add our Divine, which is plus 6. So we do successfully defeat the Bone Crusher Hyena Master. And we're going to see if we recharge the Clinging Venom. We only need a Divine 6 check, and Alahazra's Divine is D10 plus 6. So it's an automatic recharge. Really like that. Okay, advancing the Blessings deck. And we get the Henchman. Okay, the Henchman is Combat 14 or Charisma Diplomacy 11. It says before you act, you may draw a random non-basic item from the box. If you do, the Henchman is evaded. And then, let's see. Okay, well, we just want to go ahead and defeat him. He is Charisma Diplomacy 11, and Alahazra's Diplomacy is D10 plus 5. So I think that's the way to go. We're going to use a Blessing of Nethys. We can add one die to a check. So we're going to roll 2d10, and we're going to add a total of 5 to that roll. So let's see if we do it. Charisma Diplomacy. Yep, Diplomacy is Charisma plus 5. Alright, and we rolled a 7, 8, 9. So we do defeat the Henchman. It says if you succeed, or add a combat check. So we didn't do the combat check, so we don't get the sword. But no worries. We just wanted to get rid of him. He is gone. But that means that we still have to move on through and close this location the hard way by running out of all the cards. Advancing the Blessings deck, we get this Ubashti Swarm. So we did not examine this card. So it's immune to mental and poison. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our Fiery Glare spell. So it's Arcane, Divine plus 2d4. Plus, since it has the fire trait, we are going to be adding a d8. So for the first check, we get a 7, we get an 8, we get a 9, 10, 11. So that's 2 above. We're rolling to see if we recharge our Fiery Glare spell. And we rolled a 2. We needed a 10. So we had 6, 7, 8. So we do not recharge the Fiery Glare spell. But now I have to do another combat check. I have a Spear of the Watchful Guardian in my hand. So it's going to be combat check is Strength or Melee plus 1d6 plus 1. So it's going to be 2d6. Plus it's going to be, we're going to go ahead and recharge this card to add a d6. Okay, so we're going to roll 3d6 and adding 1 to this roll. So that's 12 and 5, 17, 18, more than enough. We exceeded the difficulty by over 2, so this Bane is banished. Okay, resetting the hand, advancing the Blessings deck. We get an Explorer's Staff, Strength Melee 2, so Alahazra's Strength is D6. Pretty good chance she'll acquire that card, and she does. So she'll just discard that card. One more card in the Blessings deck, one more card in our Location deck. So we have the corrosion spell. So it's divine 7 check, and Alahazra has a divine skill of D10 plus 6. So this is an auto acquire. And now it says here, succeed at a wisdom or survival check with a difficulty of 4 plus the scenario's adventure deck number, which is 2. So we need to roll a wisdom check of 6 or higher. Our wisdom is D8 plus 2, and we're going to use a blessing of Ra on that. So we're going to roll 2d8 plus 2. So we rolled 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, more than enough. Alright, we didn't run out of time. We almost did. So that was a close call. The catacombs is now banished, or the location is closed, to use the proper terminology. So pretty exciting adventure. Let's go ahead and do a deck check for our character Alahazra. So she has Game of the Afterlife. She's got that pretty radical Find Traps spell. She's got the Spear of the Watchful Guardian. Clinging Venom really helped her out. That ally is really cool. So she got a few items which she may be able to trade to a trader. What we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, here's the deck check. These are all the cards. Cool, and she's got this great level 2 spell, so she can trade that to a trader, no problem. She also got the Mist Mail, which is really cool. So she's got a lot of cool options here. Let's go ahead and let's look at what exactly, let me adjust the lens there, cool. So the reward for this scenario was the Ubashki, whatever. It was, so she also, this scenario gives her this loot. It's one of my favorite loots. 1d8 to any strength, dexterity, or perception check. So she gets that. She also, Alahazra, gets access to a new trader. She gets access to Shahrazad. So that's all really cool, but I think what Alahazra wants to do, the last adventure we gave her the ally card list. So let's go ahead and we're going to visit the auction house, and we're going to see what kind of allies we can get. I think that's what Alahazra wants to do. She's looking for allies. So we're rolling the D30 here. So we rolled a 5, and now we're rolling that. Okay, so here are the allies that Alahazra can get at the auction house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That card. Okay, so we can either get the Cleric of Nethys or Auntie. Okay, well these are some interesting choices. Cleric of Nethys, on your check after the roll, you charge this card to add or subtract 2 from the result. Wow, that is amazing. That is really powerful. Or Auntie. You charge this card to add your wisdom skill to your check that invokes the cold or undead trait. Well, some really cool items at the, so if of course, what we're going to do is we're probably going to get rid of the Tomb Raider card. Don't think we need the Tomb Raider anymore, because we have all these great Find Traps spells. I really was kind of hoping to get an additional Ubashki. The more I look at this card, the more I kind of like it, because you can recharge this card to reduce damage dealt to you by 2. So I like that. But this Cleric of Nethys, that's really cool. I think we're going to go ahead and add him to our deck. Say, Auntie, sorry, you're still back at the auction house. So of course, the auction house is going to want 2 boons from us, and it's only going to accept boons of level 2 or higher. So we'll go ahead and we'll give them the corrosion spell. We're going to give them the Mist Mail, so they're happy with the trade. So now the question is, for Alahazra and her deck, is does she want to keep the Ubashki and toss the Embalming Fluid or the Game of the Afterlife? As we saw, the Game of the Afterlife kind of really helped her that adventure. Well, I mean, it had the potential to help her. Really did. And what really helped her was Maga Three Fingers here. But now we got this Cleric of the Nethys. This is really cool. Alahazra really has some solid allies, which is really exciting. So, hard to tell. I don't exactly know which one I'm going to keep for the deck. but I will let you know next scenario. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that video. Alahazra really just blew through the whole catacombs. She's quite the powerhouse, so we'll see if the other adventures are a little more challenging. But as it is, leveling up characters is just as much fun. Alright, well thanks again. Hopefully you enjoyed watching. I'll have another scenario up shortly.